Sir, with respect, those protocols are based on luminary superstitions, not scientific fact, Elena argued. I've been studying her energy patterns for months. I believe their fears about physical contact are unfounded religious beliefs, not biological reality. Chen's expression hardened. Dr. Rodriguez, I cannot authorize direct contact with the subject. It's too dangerous. But Elena was already moving toward the containment controls. Years of studying xenobiology had taught her to trust her instincts, and every fiber of her being told her that Kithara was dying. The warrior who had threatened her so eloquently just days ago was now fading like a candle in the wind. Sometimes, Elena said, her fingers hovering over the containment field deactivation switch, being human means taking impossible risks to save someone else. Before Chen could stop her, Elena disabled the containment field and stepped forward. Kithara's energy discharges lashed out wildly, but Elena pressed on, her medical scanner beeping frantically as she approached the dying alien. "Stay back, human!" Kithara gasped, her voice weak but still defiant. "Your touch will destroy what remains of my essence." Elena knelt beside the flickering form, her hands trembling with both fear and determination. "Maybe," she said softly, "or maybe it will save you." Without hesitation, Elena reached out and placed her hands on Kithara's arm. The moment their skin made contact, the universe exploded into sensation. Elena's consciousness was flooded with alien thoughts, emotions, and memories that weren't her own. She experienced Kithara's childhood on a world made of living light, felt the warrior's pride in defending her people, and shared the crushing loneliness of being the last survivor of her ship's crew. But something incredible was happening. Instead of the mutual destruction both species feared, Elena's hum and neural patterns were stabilizing Kithara's chaotic energy matrix. Her natural bioelectric field was acting as a grounding force, channeling the warrior's wild energy into stable patterns. Through their connection, Elena could feel Kithara's amazement and terror. The luminary warrior was experiencing human emotions for the first time, the warmth of compassion, the fierce determination to help others, and the stubborn refusal to give up even in the face of impossible odds. "This is impossible," Kithara whispered, her form beginning to stabilize. "Your species, you're not destroyers, you're healers?" Elena maintained the contact, feeling the alien's energy patterns synchronizing with her own heartbeat. Through their shared connection, she could sense Kithara's memories of the war that had destroyed her ship. The Luminary had been fighting an ancient enemy called the Void Seekers, creatures of pure entropy that consumed entire star systems. "My people have been wrong about yours," Kithara continued, her voice growing stronger. "We believed humans were barbarians, interested only in conquest and destruction. But your touch, it doesn't corrupt, it completes." As the minutes passed, Elena began to understand the true nature of the Luminary. They weren't just energy beings, they were incomplete beings, designed by evolution to bond with other species. Their fear of physical contact wasn't based on corruption, but on the terror of losing their independence through symbiosis. "Your people," Elena said softly, maintaining the stabilizing contact. "They're afraid of becoming dependent on others, aren't they?" Kithara's nebula-like eyes swirled with new understanding. "For millennia, we have prided ourselves on our purity, our independence. We believed that needing others made us weak. But now I see that connection makes us stronger." Commander Chen watched in amazement as Kithara's energy readings stabilized completely. The wild fluctuations ceased, replaced by a steady, harmonious pattern that seemed to pulse in rhythm with Elena's heartbeat. The forbidden contact. The emergency klaxons echoed through Research Station Prometheus as Dr. Elena Rodriguez rushed down the sterile corridors. Her white lab coat billowed behind her as she clutched the medical scanner tightly in her hand. 3 months of studying the galaxy's most mysterious species, the Luminary, and now everything was falling apart. Commander James Chen's voice crackled through the communication system. "Dr. Rodriguez, the subject's energy readings are off the charts. We need you in Containment Bay 7 immediately." Elena's heart raced as she approached the reinforced doors of the containment bay. Through the transparent aluminum viewing panel, she could see her subject writhing in apparent agony. The luminary warrior they had rescued from a derelict ship was unlike anything humanity had ever encountered. Kithara stood nearly 8 feet tall, her form seemingly made of living starlight. Her skin appeared translucent, with veins of pure energy flowing beneath the surface like liquid silver. Her elongated limbs moved with an otherworldly grace, and her face, while humanoid, possessed features that seemed carved from crystal and moonbeams. Most striking were her eyes, deep pools of swirling nebulae that held the wisdom and fury of 1,000 dying stars. The luminary had been discovered only 6 months ago on the outer rim of the galaxy. Their species communicated through complex energy fields, creating a form of telepathic network that bound their entire civilization together. What made them truly unique was their absolute terror of physical contact with other species. According to their beliefs, touching an outsider would corrupt their pure energy essence and lead to a fate worse than death. Elena had spent countless hours studying Kithara from a distance, fascinated by the way her subject's energy patterns shifted with different emotions. The HFY Arier had been found floating in space after her ship was destroyed in some unknown conflict. Despite being rescued by humans, Kithara remained hostile and deeply suspicious of her captors. "Touch me once, and I won't spare you, human," Kithara had warned during their first encounter, her voice carrying the sound of wind chimes in a cosmic storm. The translator struggled to convey the full meaning of her words, but the threat was unmistakable. Now, as Elena entered the containment bay, she could see that something was terribly wrong. Kithara's energy field was fluctuating wildly, creating dangerous electrical discharges that sparked against the containment walls. Her luminous form was flickering like a dying star, and the alien warrior was clearly in distress. "What happened?" Elena asked Commander Chen, who stood at a safe distance from the containment field. "Unknown," Chen replied, his weathered face creased with worry. "Her readings started spiking about 20 minutes ago. Our sensors indicate some kind of internal energy cascade failure. If we don't do something soon, she might not survive." Elena studied her scanner readings with growing alarm. Kithara's bioenergy levels were indeed critical. The warrior's natural energy matrix was becoming unstable, threatening to tear her very essence apart. It was like watching someone's soul unravel in real time. "I need to get closer," Elena said, moving toward the containment field controls. "Absolutely not," Chen protested. "You know the protocols. No physical contact with luminary subjects under any circumstances. Their touch is supposed to be lethal to us, and ours is supposedly toxic to them." Elena watched as Kithara's form flickered more violently. The warrior's eyes, usually blazing with defiant fire, were growing dim. Whatever was happening to her was progressing rapidly, and Elena realized they might only have minutes before it was too late. "Absolutely not," Chen protested. "You know the protocols. No physical contact with luminary subjects under any circumstances. Their touch is supposed to be lethal to us, and ours is supposedly toxic to them." Elena watched as Kithara's form flickered more violently. The warrior's eyes, usually blazing with defiant fire, were growing dim. Whatever was happening to her was progressing rapidly, and Elena realized they might only have minutes before it was too late. "Sir, with respect, those protocols are based on luminary superstitions, not scientific fact," Elena argued. "I've been studying her energy patterns for months. I believe their fears about physical contact are unfounded religious beliefs, not biological reality." Chen's expression hardened. "Dr. Rodriguez, I cannot authorize direct contact with the subject. It's too dangerous." But Elena was already moving toward the containment controls. Years of studying xenobiology had taught her to trust her instincts, and every fiber of her being told her that Kithara was dying. The warrior who had threatened her so eloquently just days ago was now fading like a candle in the wind. Sometimes, Elena said, her fingers hovering over the containment field deactivation switch. Being human means taking impossible risks to save someone else. Before Chen could stop her, Elena disabled the containment field and stepped forward. Kithara's energy discharges lashed out wildly, but Elena pressed on, her medical scanner beeping frantically as she approached the dying alien. "Stay back, human!" Kithara gasped, her voice weak but still defiant. "Your touch will destroy what remains of my essence." Elena knelt beside the flickering form, her hands trembling with both fear and determination. "Maybe," she said softly, "or maybe it will save you." Without hesitation, Elena reached out and placed her hands on Kithara's arm. The moment this ear skin made contact, the universe exploded into sensation. Elena's consciousness was flooded with alien thoughts, emotions, and memories that weren't her own. She experienced Kithara's childhood on a world made of living light, felt the warrior's pride in defending her people, and shared the crushing loneliness of being the last survivor of her ship's crew. But something incredible was happening. Instead of the mutual destruction both species feared, Elena's human neural patterns were stabilizing Kithara's chaotic energy matrix. Her natural bioelectric field was acting as a grounding force, channeling the warrior's wild energy into stable patterns. Through their connection, Elena could feel Kithara's amazement and terror. The luminary warrior was experiencing human emotions for the first time, the warmth of compassion, the fierce determination to help others, and the stubborn refusal to give up even in the face of impossible odds. "This is impossible," Kithara whispered, her form beginning to stabilize. "You're species. You're not destroyers. You're healers?" Elena maintained the contact, feeling the alien's energy pattern synchronizing with her own heartbeat. Through their shared connection, she could sense Kithara's memories of the war that had destroyed her ship. The luminary had been fighting an ancient enemy called the Void Seekers, creatures of pure entropy that consumed entire star systems. "My people have been wrong about yours," Kithara continued, her voice growing stronger. "We believed humans were barbarians, interested only in conquest and destruction. But your touch, it doesn't corrupt, it completes." As the minutes passed, Elena began to understand the true nature of the luminary. They weren't just energy beings, they were incomplete beings, designed by evolution to bond with other species. Their fear of physical contact wasn't based on corruption, but on the terror of losing their independence through symbiosis. "Your people," Elena said softly, maintaining the stabilizing contact. "They're afraid of becoming dependent on others, aren't they?" Kithara's nebula-like eyes swirled with new understanding. "For millennia, we have prided ourselves on our purity, our independence. We believed that needing others made us weak, but now I see that connection makes us stronger." Commander Chen watched in amazement as Kithara's energy reading stabilized completely. The wild fluctuations ceased, replaced by a steady, harmonious pattern that seemed to pulse in rhythm with Elena's heartbeat. "Dr. Rodriguez," Chen said quietly, "what have you discovered?" Elena looked up, her eyes bright with excitement and wonder. "I think we've found something incredible, Commander. The luminary aren't meant to live in isolation. They're meant to be partners." Kithara slowly rose to her full height, her form now blazing with renewed vitality. But there was something different about her energy patterns. They carried traces of human neural activity, creating beautiful new configurations of light and thought. "Human Elena," Kithara said, her voice carrying new warmth. "You have given me something I never knew I lacked. Your species' capacity for hope, for fighting against impossible odds, for refusing to abandon others. These are not weaknesses. They are the greatest strengths in the universe." Elena smiled, still maintaining light contact with the alien warrior. "And your people's connection to the cosmic energy that flows through everything. That's something humanity has always dreamed of understanding." The implications of their discovery were staggering. If humans and Luminary could form this kind of symbiotic bond, it could revolutionize both species. The Luminary's energy manipulation abilities combined with human ingenuity and determination could solve problems that had plagued the galaxy for centuries. But their moment of revelation was interrupted by urgent alarms throughout the station. Commander Chen's communication device crackled to life with panicked reports from the sensor array. "Commander," came the voice of Lieutenant Morrison from the bridge. "We're detecting massive energy signatures approaching our position. Unknown vessels, moving at impossible speeds." Chen's face went pale as he realized the implications. "Dr. Rodriguez, we need to get to the bridge immediately." Kithara's form suddenly blazed with alarm. "The energy signatures, I recognize them. The Void Seekers have found us." Elena felt a chill run down her spine as she sensed Kithara's terror through their maintained contact. The Void Seekers were the ancient enemy that had destroyed Kithara's ship and was systematically consuming entire sectors of the galaxy. "How long do we have?" Elena asked. Kithara's eyes swirled with calculations as she extended her senses beyond the station. "Their assault ships move faster than light itself. Perhaps 1 of your hours, no more." Commander Chen activated the station-wide emergency protocol. "All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. We have incoming hostiles." As the three of them rushed toward the bridge, Elena maintained contact with Kithara, marveling at how natural it felt. The alien warrior's presence in her mind was like having access to a cosmic library of knowledge and experience. "There is something you must understand," Kithara said as they moved through the corridors. "The Void Seekers are not merely conquerors. They are entropy itself given form. They consume the life energy of entire worlds, leaving nothing but dead space in their wake." Elena's scientific mind raced with possibilities. "But if humans and Luminary can bond like this, maybe we can fight them. Your energy manipulation abilities combined with human technology and tactical thinking." "Yes," Kithara agreed, her voice filled with growing hope. "But it will require trust between our peoples. My kind must overcome their fear of contact, and your kind must be willing to risk everything for beings you barely understand." As they reached the bridge, Elena realized that their accidental discovery was about to be tested in the most crucial way possible. The fate of both species, and perhaps the entire galaxy, might depend on the fragile bond between a human scientist and an alien warrior. The first part of their incredible journey was complete, but Elena sensed that the greatest challenges still lay ahead. The bridge between worlds. The bridge of Research Station. Prometheus buzzed with controlled chaos as the crew prepared for the impossible. Through the main view screen, the approaching Void Seeker fleet looked like a swarm of mechanical locusts, devouring the stars themselves. Their ships absorbed all light that touched them, creating patches of absolute darkness against the cosmic backdrop. Elena maintained her connection with Kithara as they studied the tactical displays. Through their bond, she could feel the warriors' memories of previous encounters with these ancient enemies. The Void Seekers had been consuming worlds for millions of years, leaving behind nothing but empty space and the screams of dying civilizations. 37 vessels, Lieutenant Morrison reported from the sensor station, each one approximately 2 kilometers in length. Energy readings are... "Commander, I've never seen anything like this. They're not just ships. They're like holes in reality itself." Commander Chen studied the approaching fleet with grim determination. Research Station Prometheus was a scientific outpost, not a military installation. Their defensive capabilities were minimal compared to what was bearing down on them. "Dr. Rodriguez," Chen said, turning to Ile. You and your partner seem to understand these things better than anyone else. What are we dealing with?" Kithara stepped forward, her luminous form casting dancing shadows across the bridge. "The Void Seekers are not biological beings as you understand them. They are entropy given consciousness, the heat death of the universe accelerated and focused into living weapons." Elena felt a surge of information flow through their connection as Kithara shared her knowledge. The Void Seekers fed on life energy, growing stronger with each world they consumed. They had been systematically destroying entire sectors, working their way toward the galaxy's core, where the richest concentrations of life existed. But there has to be a weakness, Elena insisted, her human, stubborn determination flooding through the bond. Everything in the universe has patterns, rules, limitations. Through their connection, Elena could sense Kithara's memories of the final battle that had destroyed her ship. The Luminary had tried every weapon in their arsenal: energy beams that could shatter planets, quantum bombs that could collapse stars, psychic attacks that could drive entire species insane. Nothing had worked. "My people discovered something in our final moments," Kithara said, her voice heavy with the weight of terrible knowledge. "The Void Seekers cannot consume what they cannot understand. They feed on pure energy, on individual life forces, but when different species bond together, when consciousness becomes truly shared." Elena's eyes widened as the implication hit her. "They can't process hybrid energy signatures. Our bond, it's like static to them." Commander Chen looked between the human scientist and the alien warrior. "Are you suggesting that this connection between you two could be weaponized?" "Not weaponized," Elena said, her voice growing more confident. "Enhanced. If we could establish connections between we could generate an energy field that the Void Seekers cannot consume," Kithara finished, her form blazing brighter with hope. "But it would require my people to overcome millions of years of conditioning. They would need to trust humans completely." Elena squeezed Kithara's hand, feeling the alien warrior's strength flow through her. "Then we better make contact with your people quickly. How long before the Void Seekers reach us?" 43 minutes, Morrison reported, his voice tight with stress. Chen activated the long-range communication array. "Can you contact other Luminary from here?" Kithara moved to the communication console, her energy-based anatomy interfacing directly with the station's systems. Elena watched in fascination as her partner's consciousness expanded through the electronic networks, reaching out across the vast distances of space. "I am touching the energy fields of my people," Kithara said, her voice taking on an otherworldly quality. 3 colonial fleets are within range. They are afraid. They sense the approaching darkness and are preparing to flee to the outer rim. Elena stepped closer, maintaining their physical connection. "Tell them about us. Show them what we've discovered." For several minutes, Kithara communicated with her people through methods that human science was only beginning to understand. Elena could feel echoes of the conversation through their bond: surprise, fear, disbelief, and finally, desperate hope. "They will come," Kithara announced. 300 of my people are willing to attempt the bonding, but they will need human volunteers who understand the risks." Commander Chen activated the station-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the commander. I need volunteers for an experimental procedure that may be our only chance of survival. Dr. Rodriguez will explain the details in the main conference room in 5 minutes. Elena's heart swelled with pride as she felt the immediate response of her fellow humans. Through the station's internal sensors, she could see people abandoning their posts and rushing toward the conference room. Fear was present, certainly, but it was overwhelmed by curiosity, determination, and the uniquely human refusal to give up without a fight. In the conference room, Elena and Kithara explained the situation to nearly 200 station personnel. The alien warrior's presence, once terrifying, now seemed almost protective as she stood beside Elena. "The bonding process is permanent," Elena explained honestly. "You'll share consciousness with a luminary partner for the rest of your lives. Their thoughts, emotions, and memories will become part of you, just as yours will become part of them." Engineer Sarah Walsh raised her hand. "Dr. Rodriguez, what are the practical implications? Will we still be human?" Elena looked at Kithara, feeling the warrior's encouragement through their bond. "You'll be more than human. You'll be part of something greater, a hybrid consciousness that combines the best of both species." Chief Medical Officer Dr. Patel spoke up. "And the risks?" Unknown, Elena admitted. Kithara and I are the first successful bond. We don't know about long-term effects, compatibility issues, or psychological impacts. What we do know is that if we don't try this, we'll all be dead in 30 minutes. The silence in the room was broken by the sound of chairs scraping as people stood up. One by one, nearly every person in the room volunteered. Elena felt tears in her eyes as she witnessed the incredible courage of her species, the willingness to risk everything for a chance to save others. The next 20 minutes were a blur of activity. The luminary colonial fleets arrived in perfect formation, their ships looking like floating cities made of crystallized starlight. 300 alien warriors teleported aboard the station, their forms blazing with nervous energy. Elena and Kithara moved through the groups, helping facilitate the bonding process. Each successful connection created a flash of light that could be seen throughout the station. Human minds merged with alien consciousness, creating unprecedented hybrid intelligences that sparkled with new possibilities. Dr. Patel bonded with a luminary healer named Zara, their combined knowledge instantly revolutionizing medical science. Engineer Walsh connected with a luminary technician called Vex, and their shared consciousness began developing technologies that neither species could have imagined alone. Commander Chen, despite his initial reluctance, bonded with Kithara's former captain, a warrior named Thane. The military tactical knowledge of both species merged into something that could outthink any enemy. With 5 minutes to spare before the Void Seeker's arrival, Elena felt the network of bonded pairs stabilize. 300 human luminary partnerships created an energy field that pulsed with hybrid consciousness, part human determination, part alien cosmic awareness. "Are we ready?" Elena asked, her voice carrying the confidence of her entire species. The answer came not just from Kithara, but from every bonded pair on the station, a chorus of hybrid voices speaking in perfect harmony. "We are ready." The Void Seekers arrived exactly on schedule, their dark ships blotting out the stars. But as they approached the station, something unprecedented happened. Their entropy fields, designed to consume any form of life energy, encountered the hybrid consciousness network and recoiled. The bonded pairs stood together in the station's central bay, their combined energy creating a sphere of light that pushed back against the absolute darkness of the Void Seekers. Elena felt the power flowing through the network, human creativity and stubbornness combined with luminary cosmic obvious, harness and energy manipulation. The lead Void Seeker ship fired its primary weapon, a beam of pure entropy that had destroyed countless worlds. But when it struck the hybrid energy field, something impossible happened. The entropy beam was absorbed, converted, and reflected back as pure creative force. The Void Seeker ship, designed to consume and destroy, was forced to experience creation and growth. Its dark hull began to crack as flowers of light bloomed across its surface. The ancient machine intelligence that drove it was overwhelmed by concepts it had never encountered: hope, compassion, the willingness to sacrifice for others. One by one, the entire Void Seeker fleet was transformed. Their ships became gardens of light, their destructive programming overwritten by the creative force of hybrid consciousness. The ancient enemies of life itself were forced to become agents of growth and renewal. Elena felt Kithara's amazement through their bond as they watched the transformation. "In all the millennia of war," the alien warrior whispered, "no one ever thought to fight entropy with synthesis." Commander Chen, speaking with the combined tactical wisdom of human and luminary military traditions, coordinated with the other bonded pairs to guide the transformed Void Seeker ships toward dead regions of space. Their new creative programming would help them restore life to worlds they had previously consumed. As the immediate crisis passed, Elena realized that this was just the beginning. The human luminary hybrid consciousness network had proven that different species could become stronger together. Word would spread throughout the galaxy, inspiring other species to overcome their fears and prejudices. "What happens now?" Elena asked, looking around at the bonded pairs who had chosen to risk everything for the chance of something better. Kythera's energy field pulsed with joy and infinite possibility. "Now we show the galaxy what beings can accomplish when they choose connection over isolation, trust over fear, love over hate." Elena smiled, feeling the future stretching out before them like an infinite canvas waiting to be painted with the dreams and determination of countless species working together. The touch that had once been forbidden had become the bridge between worlds. Through their bond, she could sense the excitement of their fellow hybrid consciousness pairs as they began to explore the implications of their transformation. Human curiosity merged with luminary wisdom was already generating solutions to problems that had plagued the galaxy for millennia. "The universe just became a much more interesting place," Elena said, squeezing Kythera's hand as they watched the stars through the view screen. And somewhere in the cosmic background, the very fabric of space-time seemed to hum with approval, as if the universe itself was pleased that its children had finally learned to touch each other without fear.